Off the beaten path of gaming, indie games offer creatives a chance to give form to their inner emotions and most profound, most personal experiences. You see a lot of projects that focus heavily on storytelling and presenting the player with something they can relate to or empathize with. This notion is something that I love about indie games. There's little to no restriction on what they can create so long as they're willing to put the time and effort to see the vision come to life. The end project, though, may not hit the mark for everyone, but everything will be worthwhile if it resonates with a single person. Sadly, looking up, I see only a ceiling didn't do that for me.
Noisy pixel.
Looking Up, I See Only a Ceiling by developer Silver978 feels like one of these projects that I described earlier. It has a story it wants to tell that comes from a very personal emotional place. In the shoes of a stress-ridden student, you must go about your daily routine, all while peculiar phenomena start to make things all the more challenging to move forward and complete your studies. From this basic concept alone, it's easy to see how it could be a relatable experience that could really touch its audience emotionally. But is there something missing from this melancholic tale? Truthfully and honestly, from a critic's perspective, this game is a challenging title to review because the content in the game will mean something different to anyone who plays. Of course, opinions are subjective, and reviews are not gospel. My thoughts and feelings on any game I review will not match everyone else's. It's also a matter of taste, preference, and what makes a game enjoyable. With any game I review, I always try to present it myself, sharing what I think personally, and then it's up to the reader to judge whether the game I'm reviewing is for them or not. With that said, Looking Up, I See Only a Ceiling has been created to express an emotion, to give form to an experience that the creator is perhaps familiar with. That's not to say that it's immune from critique, because it isn't. Art can be critiqued just like any other piece of media. To be blunt, I didn't care how this game told its story, as everything feels too bare bones on the surface. I learned very little about the characters, the world, or the story throughout my short runtime, and any answers were usually lackluster or didn't strike any feeling inside of me. I understood what the game was trying to say with its narrative, but it didn't connect with me. I don't think this is entirely the game's fault though, as it could come down to my life experiences. Looking Up, I See Only a Ceiling tells a story of stress and how we cope when everything gets too overwhelming. I'd be lying if I said I didn't understand stress, but with how it's presented here, it just didn't land. It presents the player with some interesting ideas, and its visual style does at least work hard to give the games a rather gloomy, eerie atmosphere. The hard work that was put into this game is evident in aesthetics and helps make the whole experience more memorable. The visuals enhance the idea that this is an interactive piece of expressive art, but in the same respect, they don't hold it above its shortcomings for me. As this game focuses significantly on its narrative elements, the creative visuals alone aren't enough to shift my opinion. Similarly, the audio provides some fittingly haunting ambiance, but doesn't do anything to improve the narrative as a whole. Despite my feelings about the game, I could still tentatively say that you probably should play Looking Up, I See Only a Ceiling. This isn't a game that will hit home with everyone though. At the same time, I respect it and can admire the courage it takes to produce something like this. For me, the narrative connection is not there, but I would understand entirely if someone else played this and immediately took to it. It's a commendable effort from a creator who clearly has passion for this kind of storytelling. And even if I didn't get sucked into Looking Up, I See Only a Ceiling, I hope that Silver978 continues to forge new and emotional experiences in the future. Noisy Pixel is giving Looking Up, I See Only a Ceiling a 5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy pixel.